There's a story in the Bible of an everyday person that reminds me of how much we need God. It's a story we all live out from time to time. It's every man's story and every woman's story too. It's the story of empty vessels. I'm Tom Miller and I pastor in a city perched on the far western edge of the largest freshwater lake in the world. The city is Superior, Wisconsin, and the church is Central Assembly. And this is Fuel for the Fire, volume 777, Empty Vessels. The story is found in 2 Kings 4, 1 through 6. It's a story of a woman in a tough spot. Her husband has died, and though he was a good man, he left her with a passel of bills to pay and 2 sons to care for. It wasn't the way he planned it. It never is. And the creditors weren't as sympathetic as we are. They never are. In fact, the creditors were threatening to take her sons as payment for the unpaid bills. So in her desperation, the woman turned to the man of God in those parts, Elisha, the prophet. Elisha asked her a great question. What do you have? It's easy for us to look at what we don't have when we should be looking to maximize what we do have. The woman realized what she did have was a pot of oil. Oil was a valuable commodity back in the day. It was not only useful, but it could also be sold. But alas, she had only 1 pot. Elisha told the woman and her boys to borrow containers from their neighbors, and they did, until the house was full of empty vessels. So they went to work and began to fill all the empty vessels from the 1 pot of oil. Finally, the woman looked to her son for another empty vessel, and he said, "There isn't any." And in that moment, the oil stopped flowing. The lesson for me is that the blessing God pours into us is not meant to stay with us. God will give to us what He knows He can give through us. Whether we're talking finances, ministry, spiritual gifts, time, or talent, we need to continually pour it out. Nothing God gives us is meant to be hoarded. It's meant to be spent in service of the kingdom. The day our vessels are full is the day the oil stops flowing. The moment we stop giving, our source is cut off. The instant it becomes about us is the moment we're left on our own. Empty vessels remind me I need God. That's the way I see it. And that's a little fuel for the fire. And remember, I love you guys.